In the quiet town of Blackwood, nestled deep in the forested hills, there was a house that no one dared to speak of, the Ashcroft Manor. Old and decayed, it stood like a haunting monument, its once grand architecture now draped in vines and moss. People whispered about it, but no one ventured near, especially after the tragic disappearance of the Ashcroft family decades ago. When Alex Parker, a young writer fascinated by forgotten histories, came to Blackwood, the town's unsettling secrets piqued his curiosity. Locals warned him to stay away from Ashcroft Manor, muttering superstitions about restless spirits and strange occurrences that plagued those who even looked too long at the mansion. Alex, dismissing these as folklore, decided to visit the manor, driven by the lure of untold stories. The house greeted him with a chilling stillness. Its doors creaked open, as if it had been expecting him. Inside, shadows danced across the walls, and the faint scent of something burning lingered in the air. Alex's footsteps echoed as he explored room after room, discovering decayed furniture, dusty portraits of the Ashcroft family, and the eerie feeling of being watched. Then, in the grand ballroom, he found something that sent chills down his spine, an old mirror. Unlike the rest of the house, it gleamed with an unsettling clarity, reflecting not just Alex's form, but faint shadows hovering behind him. Startled, he turned, but there was nothing. Yet, when he looked into the mirror again, the shadows were closer. Fascinated, Alex approached the mirror, studying it. Whispers began to fill the room, low and unintelligible, as if the house itself was speaking. And then a voice, soft, broken, and pleading. "Help us." The reflection shifted. In the glass, Alex saw the ghostly forms of the Ashcroft family, pale, hollow-eyed, and trapped. Their hands reached out, trying to claw their way through the mirror's surface. The whispers grew louder, filled with desperation. "Save us, before he returns." Before Alex could react, the temperature plummeted. His breath fogged the air, and an oppressive presence filled the room. A cold, malevolent laugh echoed from the shadows as something dark, something ancient, stirred in the depths of the house. Alex felt it before he saw it, a towering, black silhouette with glowing eyes that watched him from the corner of the room. The air grew thick with dread as the entity's voice rasped. "You've trespassed too far, mortal." In a panic, Alex backed away from the mirror, but the door slammed shut behind him. The ghostly forms of the Ashcrofts screamed in terror as the dark figure moved closer, its presence suffocating. The entity grinned, extending a hand toward Alex. "Now you belong to me." And then, darkness. When Alex awoke, he was outside the manor, sprawled on the overgrown lawn. He had no memory of how he escaped, but something had changed. His reflection, distorted and hollow, lingered just a second too long in mirrors. Whispers followed him wherever he went, and the chill of the manor clung to his bones. Worse still, he could hear the desperate cries of the Ashcroft family echoing in his mind, begging for release, warning him of what lurked within the shadows of the house. But Alex knew the truth: he hadn't escaped. Not yet. The real terror was just beginning. The next night, as the clock struck midnight, a familiar, malevolent laugh echoed through his home, and the whispers returned. The Ashcroft Manor still called to him. For the next few nights, Alex couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the dark figure from the Ashcroft Manor. Its glowing eyes pierced through the black void of his dreams, drawing him back to that decayed ballroom. The whispers of the Ashcroft family echoed constantly in his mind, pleading, warning, crying out for help. But every time Alex tried to recall more about what happened in the manor, his memory blurred, slipping away like sand between his fingers. On the fifth night, the whispers became screams. Alex jolted awake, drenched in sweat, as a gust of freezing wind blew through his apartment. His breath came out in ragged puffs, and his hands trembled as he reached for the bedside lamp. The light flickered for a moment, then died. Darkness swallowed the room, and in the mirror across from his bed, he saw his reflection, staring back at him, but not his own. The figure in the mirror was gaunt, with pale skin stretched too tightly across its face. Its eyes, hollow and black, burned with a silent terror. It looked just like Alex, but distorted, as if the version of him trapped within the glass was decaying. Then, from the reflection's mouth came a faint, blood-chilling whisper. "Asterisk, he's coming." Asterisk, a knock echoed from his front door. Alex's heart raced as the knocking grew louder, more insistent. He stumbled out of bed, his mind screaming to ignore it, to run far away, but his legs moved of their own accord. He found himself standing in front of the door, hand shaking on the doorknob. Before he could open it, the knocking stopped. Silence. The air felt heavy, oppressive, as though something was watching him from every corner of the room. Alex slowly turned the knob and pulled the door open a crack. Nothing. The hallway was empty. The only sound was his own ragged breathing. Relief washed over him for a moment, but as he turned to close the door, his eyes caught something on the ground. A small, crumpled piece of paper lay at his feet. Frowning, he picked it up and unfolded it with trembling hands. Scrawled in dark, jagged letters were the words, Asterisk, it will return to claim you. Go back to the manor. Asterisk, before Alex could process the message, he felt a sudden chill behind him. Slowly, he turned, his breath catching in his throat. Standing at the far end of the hallway was a figure tall, shadowy silhouette with burning eyes, just like the one in the manor. It didn't move, didn't speak. It simply watched him, its presence seeping into the walls, making the very air feel thick with malice. Alex stumbled backward, slamming the door shut. His heart pounded in his chest, and every instinct screamed at him to leave. But something inside him, the whispers, the strange pull told him he couldn't run from this. He had to go back to the Ashcroft Manor. With shaking hands, Alex grabbed his jacket, the crumpled note still clutched in his fist. He knew he had no choice. Whatever was happening, whatever had started the moment he stepped foot inside that cursed house, was far from over. And the Ashcroft's warning echoed in his mind. Asterisk, before he returns. Asterisk, outside. The night was eerily quiet. The wind barely stirred, and the moon cast long, twisted shadows across the ground. The walk to Ashcroft Manor felt like a nightmare. The closer Alex got, the more the air seemed to thicken, as though reality itself was bending around the house. And there, looming before him, the decayed mansion stood in the moonlight, its windows dark, its doors yawning open, as if waiting for him. As he stepped through the door, the familiar chill seeped into his bones. The whispers returned, louder than before, pleading and desperate. He could feel their presence all around him now. The Ashcroft family trapped in the house's grasp. But something else was here, too, watching, waiting. In the center of the grand ballroom, the mirror gleamed once more. Alex felt drawn to it, as if an invisible hand was guiding him toward the glass. His reflection stared back, distorted and hollow, its eyes wide with terror. The whispers intensified, and the house groaned under some unseen weight. Then, from the shadows, the dark figure emerged again, its eyes blazing. It reached toward the mirror, its long, skeletal fingers pressing against the glass, and Alex felt the pull stronger than ever. He could feel the boundary between him and the mirror thinning, the cold grip of the dark presence tightening around him. But this time, there was a new voice, a woman's voice, soft and sorrowful, cutting through the chaos. Asterisk, find the key. Free us before it's too late. Asterisk, the words sent a jolt through Alex. A key? What key? And what would happen if he failed? The figure stepped closer, the air crackling with malice, and the light in the room began to dim. Alex felt the walls closing in, the shadows curling around him, pulling him toward the mirror, toward the entity waiting to claim him. But now, amidst the growing terror, a new question burned in his mind. Who was the woman? And what was she hiding from him? The answers were buried in the depths of the Ashcroft Manor, and the clock was ticking. Alex's heart raced as the woman's voice echoed through the house, soft but filled with a deep sorrow, almost as if she had been lost for centuries. Asterisk, find the key. Asterisk, her plea lingered in his mind, intertwining with the ever-present whispers. He turned toward the mirror again, the dark figure looming just behind the glass, its skeletal hand outstretched, waiting for him to falter. Asterisk, what key? Asterisk, Alex muttered under his breath, panic swelling in his chest. His eyes darted around the ballroom, searching for any clue. The weight of the entity's gaze bore down on him, its presence so thick it made his every breath feel labored, every step like wading through a nightmare. The house groaned once more, the walls shuddering as though something ancient and malevolent was stirring beneath its foundations. Then, almost as if guided by some unseen force, Alex's gaze locked onto an old, decayed painting on the far side of the room, one of the Ashcroft family portraits he had seen earlier. In it, the patriarch of the family, Lord Ashcroft, stood with a large, ornate key hanging from his neck. Realization struck Alex like a thunderbolt. The key. Without thinking, he sprinted toward the portrait, the dark figure in the mirror growing agitated, its form twisting, its glowing eyes narrowing in fury. The whispers in the house became deafening, pleading with him to hurry. As Alex ripped the painting from the wall, dust flew into the air, revealing a small, hidden compartment behind it. Inside was an ancient brass key, tarnished and cold to the touch. Just as his fingers closed around the key, the ballroom plunged into total darkness. The temperature dropped so fast that frost began to spread across the floor, creeping toward Alex. The dark figure had stepped out of the mirror now, its massive form towering over him, eyes burning with a hunger Alex had never known. Asterisk, you are too late. Asterisk, the figure rasped, its voice like nails on glass. Its skeletal hand reached for Alex, inches away from his face. Panicking, Alex clutched the key and backed away, unsure of what to do next. His heart thundered in his chest. The whispers of the Ashcroft family grew more desperate, but beneath their cries, he could still hear the woman's voice. She was closer now, almost as if standing behind him. Asterisk, the attic. Asterisk, she whispered, summoning every ounce of strength. Alex bolted from the ballroom, the dark figure's presence following him like a shadow. Growing in intensity, he darted down long, twisting corridors, the house shifting and changing as if trying to trap him. He could hear the heavy thud of something behind him, the figure's cold breath on his neck. Stumbling up a set of narrow stairs, Alex found himself at the attic door. The wood was splintered and rotten, but with the key in his hand, it seemed to shiver with an eerie energy. Without hesitation, Alex jammed the key into the lock, twisted it, and flung the door open. Inside, the attic was filled with nothing but darkness, a void of black so thick it seemed alive. But in the center, standing alone, was a single-figure woman in a tattered white dress, her face hidden beneath a veil. She turned slowly toward Alex, and for the first time, he felt the chill of something beyond human. Her presence was suffocating, her grief palpable. Asterisk, thank you. Asterisk, she whispered, her voice soft but cold. Asterisk, you freed me. Asterisk, before Alex could react, the woman stepped forward, and as she did, the darkness of the attic seemed to wrap around her like a shroud. Her veil lifted, revealing a face twisted in rage, eyes hollow and filled with centuries of hatred. Asterisk, but you didn't free them. Asterisk, she hissed, her voice no longer sorrowful, but venomous. The door behind Alex slammed shut, trapping him inside with the woman. The house groaned once more, the walls shaking as the dark figure from the ballroom finally caught up. Its glowing eyes appeared at the far end of the attic, watching, waiting. Asterisk, you freed me. Asterisk, the woman repeated, her voice now a low growl. Asterisk, but the others are his. And so are you. Asterisk, the darkness closed in around Alex, suffocating him, pulling him deeper into the void. He tried to scream, to fight, but the weight of it all crushed him. The last thing he saw before the world faded was the woman's twisted smile, her cold, dead hands reaching for him. And then there was silence. The next morning, the people of Blackwood found Alex's apartment abandoned. His car was still parked outside, his belongings untouched, but Alex was gone, as if he had vanished into thin air. Only one thing remained, a small, old brass key lying on the floor by his bed, and the faintest sound of whispers lingering in the air. Back in the Ashcroft manor, the mirror in the grand ballroom gleamed once more, its surface rippling as a new figure appeared within its depths. A familiar face, Alex's. His hollow eyes stared out from the glass, trapped in a reflection that wasn't his own. And in the darkened corners of the manor, something ancient and malevolent stirred, waiting for the next curious soul to cross the threshold.